and this will be after the book is read. We continue on with the lesson. So in kindergarten, we get to learn a lot of really cool things, and one of those really cool things is how to read books. And one of my favorite things to do is read books to you guys. So today we are going to learn how to hold a book just like a big kid and just like I do. And I have these sticky notes, and we are going to learn about the important parts of a book. And we are going to practice holding our books. So when we're reading a book ourselves, we're not going to hold it like the teacher. We're going to hold a book just like this so that we can see the pictures and the words. So we're first going to talk about, we have our first sticky note. This has the word front. The front of the book. That is the first thing we see. When we look for a book, we're looking for the front of our book. So I'm going to put the label front on the front of our book. Now we have this side. We haven't even opened our book. We have this side as the front. If we flip our book, this is what we call the back of our book. Friends, let's see, this is the back of our book. So, when we read, we open up our book so that we can see the words and the pictures. And when we go to read our story, we don't open up in the middle of the book and start reading. We need to get to the beginning of the story, which we know is on the very first page. We flip, and the first page of our story is the page where the words start, and we see our first picture. So there are words and pictures here, but this is just like the front cover. It has the story title and the author on it. So the first page has our first words and our pictures. So we have our label here, first page. So we're going to put this on our first page. And I have one more sticky note. It's an arrow. So when we read the words this way. So just like this arrow, this way. So we don't read backwards. So I'm going to read this page this way first. There's a new toy store opening today. George said his friend, let's go downtown and see it. So when we read this way, the words make sense. So I'm going to read that first line backwards. I'm going to read it the other way, which isn't the right way. So let's see how funny that sounds. Today, opening store, toy new of theirs. Friends, did that make sense, or is that a silly, silly sentence? Yes, it's a silly, silly sentence. So we always read this way, from left to right. We're going to put that on our first page. So now that I showed you the parts of a book, I need you to teach me. So I'm going to put these sticky notes back. And you guys are going to tell me which one goes where. Let's see how much you guys remember. Philly Fanatic, come up. It's your turn to show the different parts of a book. So now we'll call up the student. This is where it's going to be a little different trying to show this. So for this lesson we do tell, ask, remind. So Philly Fanatic, this is the front of the book. Where is the front of the book? Point to the front of the book. This is the front of the book. Good job. And now we're going to have an example. We're going to have an example with an incorrect answer. This is the back of the book. Where is the back of the book? He points to the front of the book. No, that is the front of the book. This is the back of the book. And then an example with a response. Do that with the first page. This is the first page. Where is the first page? This is the first page of the book. You guys are excellent readers. You all know the different parts of the book. Now that we know the different parts of the book, we are going to practice holding our books and showing how we would read. And we're going to show all of our classmates what great book readers we are. So now will be the independent practice portion of the lesson. So each student would come up and show how to hold a book when they would read. So, very Philly fanatic. Alright, Philly fanatic, come up and show the class how you would hold a book when you read. So I want you to turn to the first page of the book and hold the front cover in one hand and the back cover in the other, just like when we read a book to ourselves. So now it's your turn. And for a correct response. Good job, Philly fanatic. That is how you hold a book. You have one hand holding the front cover, one hand holding the back cover, and you turn to the first page. Awesome job. Then for an incorrect response. Not quite. You do have one hand holding your cover and one hand. You do have one hand holding the front of the book and one hand holding the back of the book. But your words and pictures are upside down. So I will show you. We turn to the first page and we have our one hand on the front cover and our one hand on the back cover. So we can see our pictures and read our words. And then for an incorrect response, or not incorrect response, if there is no response, I will show the book myself. When we read a book, we put our one hand on the front, our one hand on the back, and we turn to the first page. And that's how we hold a book. So each student will have an opportunity, so that's where they can see teacher modeling, but also see peer modeling. And for up, you all did such a good job. As we continue to learn our ABCs and learn how to read, you are all going to be such amazing readers. Before we move on, come up and tell me something that you've learned and come get a high five. We all did such great work today. Awesome job.